Okay, I've got me a little side job here. I have to change out this toilet, and I figure why not share it with everybody, show you how to change a toilet. It's not that hard. It's actually pretty simple. It doesn't take too long. The first thing you want to do is get down and turn your knob off for your water flow, your valve, turn the water off. And then you want to take the top off the tank and drain the tank. Get all the water out of the tank that you can, because any water that's in there is going to end up on your floor. So the next thing you want to do is you've got a bolt down here on either side, one there, one over here. You want to undo those bolts and undo your water line right there from the bottom of the tank. And then you can focus. Once you get the water line undone, then you can, and those two bolts, you can actually pull the tank out, or pull the toilet out and dispose of it. Okay, I'm working on pulling this toilet out. I've removed the seat, removed the top to the back of the tank. The bolts down here are rusted out. Let me see if I can zoom in there. There's nothing left. I don't have a pair of pliers here handy at the moment, so I'm gonna have to bring a pair of pliers home from work tomorrow. But we're gonna get this toilet out of here. I don't have a big hurry on it because they're doing work on this this unit, so I have a couple of days to replace this toilet, and it's on the weekend, and I just don't have the tools here, so I will have to get a pair of pliers and bring them home from work tomorrow, and we'll get this toilet out of here and put the new one in. Okay, since I didn't need to save the toilet, since I'm putting in a new one, that's the whole point of doing this. I just went ahead and busted the bottom off because these bolts were rusted really bad. They're not the proper nuts and bolts on there. They should be made of brass. It looks like the bolts are made of brass, but the nuts are not. Brass or stainless steel. But these here just kind of slide out. All covered with wax. This is all wax down here, all wax back here. This all needs to be cleaned up, and get it all cleaned up. Get this cleaned up out of here, and then I can start installing a new toilet. So we will start cleaning on this, and once we get it cleaned up, we'll show you what's going next. Okay guys, I've taken the wax ring out, and it has a rubber seal in here too that you got to take out too. I've started cleaning it up a little bit. One thing I forgot to mention, that is, if you've got to break your old toilet out, I mean if it's a junk toilet, you can't get the bolts off, feel free to go ahead and break it. Just be very careful, because this ceramic is extremely sharp on these edges. Sharp as a knife, sharp as a razor. It will cut you. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit more and start installing the new toilet. Okay, I've got the new toilet here. It comes in a box. This toilet comes with the tank, the bowl, the seat, and even the gasket down there, and the new bolts. So you're gonna unpack everything. It's all packed in here nicely. Here you've got your toilet gasket, wax ring, and the floor hardware, which is the bolts to reattach the new toilet. So we'll get started on this, and then we will let you see what we're doing. Okay guys, I've tried to scrub on this a little bit, do a little more scraping, and did a pre-test fit of the new toilet, and Fortunately, the new toilet has a bigger footprint than the old one, where it fits on the floor. So it's going to cover up this old staining that I just cannot seem to remove. It's just been there for too many years. This is your wax ring, which is your toilet seal, and here's the rubber flange, this black piece here that I said I had to remove out of the hole earlier. So this just sits down in there, and this is like a beeswax almost. This here is wax. It's very sticky. Comes with the new bolts, and like I said, the new bolts should, or the old bolts, I guess I should say, should have been brass and stainless steel. These are brass here, stainless steel here. On the old toilet, they were not stainless steel. The toilet was leaking and the toilet had a crack in it, so that's why I'm replacing it. For the landlord, give me a little extra rent money. We will take the bolts off over here, set them aside. Okay, these bolts have like a slot here. They're like a T-shaped on the end. Let me get it in frame here. They're like a T-shaped on the end, and you put them down in here and then slide them into place. Both sides. They just kind of slide in there, those little slots, and let me grab the toilet. Then you just take your new toilet and set it into place. Now that wax needs to kind of squish out to seal it. So you want to kind of lean on it a little bit until it sets down to the floor. That wax will squish out down in there until the toilet seals to the floor. Kind of square it up, make sure it looks good, and then we'll tighten it down and get to the next step. Okay, the toilet comes with these little plastic washers. Usually they're metal, but this one I guess doesn't come with the metal ones. They go on over the bolt, and then you have the stainless steel nut that goes on there. And you don't want to tighten these down too tight, but it's a good idea to check them after a couple days, because that wax ring that you put in there will tend to loosen up or settle down, I should say. That wax ring, the wax will tend to squish down and seal the bowl to the floor over a couple days after being set on and used. So you want to kind of tighten them down just a little bit. Don't go too crazy on them. Just be gentle. Test the fit. Still needs to go down a little more. I'll get these tightened up, and we'll get back with you in a minute and show you what's next. Okay, I didn't think to record putting the tank on. I forgot all about it, but putting the tank on is really easy. Let's see if I can get down here and show you. There, to get my flashlight. There is just let me find it here. There we go. Just a washer and a nut on each side. And then in between the tank and the bowl, get the flashlight in there. There's that black gasket you can see back in there. You just put the gasket on the bottom of the tank and tighten the bolts. You do not want to tighten those bolts too tight because you can snap these ears of the tank off and break them. And then just hook up your water line. Real simple. Turn your water back on. Toilet's full. Flushes. Most toilets nowadays come with your filler tube and your flapper valve pre-installed, so you usually don't have to worry about that. But even if you do, there's just a gasket down in here with a plastic nut on the bottom, and the same with this. Very simple. All this hose here does is fills the bowl of the toilet back up to make sure there's water in the bowl, in case when it flushes completely down. So I mean, they're really simple. All I have to do left is put the top on and put the seat on, and the seat's just the same as putting the bowl on. There's just a little bolt through each hole. Tighten them down and you're done. It's very simple to change a toilet. And this toilet was cracked. The tank was cracked and it wasn't the original lid, and I got elected to change it out. So there we go. Okay, for putting the seat on, there's plastic bolts come in a bag with a nut on them. They're very simple. Just got a nut on the back. Take the nuts off. And on your seat, these have little caps that flip up that kind of hide the bolts when you put it on the toilet. Put it on the toilet. Drop your bolts through. Tighten the plastic nuts on the bottom up almost all the way. Get them up where they're snug. Okay, and then you want to kind of center your seat. Center it on the toilet so it looks nice. Alright, and then I'll have to grab a screwdriver and we'll tighten them down. Alright, grab a screwdriver, put it in there. The nuts you can hold on the bottom just with your hands. These are plastic bolts, so you don't want to go too tight, but you want to go tight enough to hold the seat in place. Check and make sure it's aligned still. Looks good. Tighten them down. Make sure the seat's tight, and close your little doors to hide the screws. And the last thing to do is take your cover and put you up here. Take your cover and put it on top of the toilet. It's all done. Very easy to replace the toilet. Doesn't take much time. The worst part is dealing with the wax gasket on the floor. That stuff's kind of sticky and gross. Putty knife and maybe a screwdriver help you clean it up a little bit, but yeah, it's pretty easy to do.